Having transmigrated into a female-oriented novel world, I became a rebel leader with a bright future. The empress of the great power dynasty favored treacherous officials, kept male concubines, indulged in extravagant pleasures, and levied exorbitant taxes, leading to uprisings everywhere. In just 2.5 years, I commanded 1,000,000 soldiers, marched south, and besieged the capital. The empress's special envoy exclaimed in shock, "Ah, Lu Ming, is that really you good-for-nothing? You're worthy of transmigrating." I realized that the foolish empress sitting in the imperial court was actually my ex-girlfriend, Lu Rushuang, from my previous world. What? Lu Rushuang's parents, younger brother, fake best friend, green tea White Lotus, and even the rich CEO who cheated with her, had all transmigrated? Those bastards who humiliated me in the other world had all arrived. Awesome. They came at the right time. I can take them all out in one fell swoop. Every cause has its effect. Your retribution is me. Jinling City, the capital of the great power dynasty. Besieged by 1,000,000 soldiers, the city's fall was imminent. Inside the commander's tent outside the city, looking at the map on the table, I couldn't help but feel a wave of emotions. It had been 2.5 years since I transmigrated into this female-oriented world. From a rebel leader who conscientiously started a rebellion, I had become the Prince of Han, commanding 1,000,000 soldiers. Perhaps I had been struck by great luck before my transmigration, resulting in good fortune after I came here. When I first transmigrated, the old emperor had just died. The one who inherited the throne was actually an extremely foolish empress. She had no governing ability, favored treacherous officials, and demoted virtuous ministers, leading to turmoil in the court. She levied exorbitant taxes, kept male concubines, indulged in extravagant pleasures, and squeezed the people dry, causing uprisings everywhere. Most surprisingly, she actually shared the same name as my ex-girlfriend, Lu Rushuang. Seeing the empress's bizarre actions, I initially thought my ex-girlfriend had also transmigrated. Later, I realized it was a false alarm. After all, the most basic things a transmigrator should know were completely absent in the Great Power Dynasty. For example, copying and plagiarizing classic poems, making salt, sugar, glass, and soap, or finding seeds for potatoes, sweet potatoes, and corn, improving the performance of agricultural tools and increasing crop yields. 1 part saltpeter, 75%, 2 parts sulfur, 10%, 3 parts charcoal, 15%, making gunpowder or something. Nothing. I didn't take these to heart and focused wholeheartedly on rebelling. Even though more than half of my subordinates were rabble, they were still able to sweep through everything like a hot knife through butter. 一路平推，围困京城. Pushing all the way, besieging the capital. I never expected. In just 2.5 years, I, Lu Ming, would succeed in rebelling. Well, no, it's righteously raising troops to overthrow. Just then, after the personal guard reported, the vanguard general, Chi Tongwei, lifted the tent flap, walked in, bowed, and clasped his hands to report. Your Majesty, everything is deployed. Just waiting for your order. We can attack the city this afternoon. His tone was full of excitement, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help but turn up. After all, they were about to break through Jinling City and completely destroy the great power dynasty. This farmer's son from a poor background could also be ennobled and become a high-ranking official with my ascension to the throne. He had waited so long, and finally waited for this day. I have to say, this guy was really eager to advance. I patted him on the shoulder and said with a smile, "I know you're anxious, but don't be anxious. After we take Jinling City, we will no longer be rebels, but the orthodox government. Since we are a regular army, a righteous army, we must restrain our subordinates after entering the city." At the same time, inside the Jinling Imperial Palace, Grand General Lu Rujuan shouted in horror, scrambling and crawling in. "Sister, we're doomed. 1,000,000 rebels. 1,000,000. It's too scary. The city is densely packed outside, full of rebels. We've been surrounded." Upon hearing this, the Empress Lu Rushuang dropped the luminous cup in her hand. She stood up abruptly, her eyes wide with fear. What? A million rebels besieging the city? Didn't you say we could easily suppress them? Why, in just 2.5 years, have they reached the outside of the city? Damn rebels, damn Lu Ming. What should we do now? If the rebel leader was that good-for-nothing ex-boyfriend, that would be great. He listened to me the most. A complete poor loser simp. But how could a warm and cowardly guy like Lu Ming possibly start a rebellion? He even calls himself the Prince of Han. Impossible. He wouldn't dare, even if he had 10,000 guts. Although they are both named Lu Ming, their courage and ability are vastly different. I have only been on the throne for 2.5 years. Why has the situation become like this? Lu Rushuang was now panicking, pacing back and forth in fear and unease. Even when death was approaching, she still dragged out the pre-transmigration me for a merciless lashing. Damn ruthless! Just then, a burst of hurried footsteps sounded. Leading the way was none other than Lu Rushuang's mother, now the Empress Dowager of the Great Power Dynasty. Before the transmigration, this person was extremely Jiansuankabo, acrimonious and mean, had a violent temper and strong control issues, and was aggressive and unreasonable. Changshi Chiangshi Chiman Hengmuli. Now she was even more arrogant and despotic, greedy and excessive, extravagant and wasteful, tyrannical and ruthless, and extremely snobbish. She was the one who humiliated and ridiculed me the most in the group that forcibly broke up me and Lu Rushuang before the transmigration. Useless, all useless. Spending money to raise so many soldiers, it's all been useless. 300,000 elite troops, actually defeated in less than 3 days. Even if this palace raised 300,000 pigs, the rebels wouldn't be able to catch them all in 3 days. All are useless. All should have their 9 generations exterminated. Grand General Lu Rujuan was stunned and pointed at himself in confusion. Am I going to have my 9 generations exterminated too? He lu chu那个女孩指着自己，满脑门问号的表情包。Lu chu那个女孩指着自己，满脑门问号的表情包 displayed the meme of the girl pointing at herself with a question mark all over her face. Mom, although I am the Grand General, this can't be blamed on me. It's those soldiers who are too cowardly, more hateful than traitors. As soon as I drove them out to fight, they almost all defected on the spot. Then, Lu Ruju Jiao Xiao, Jia Buxinde Jiao Xiao, arrogantly and unyieldingly shouted, Mom, if my 9 generations are exterminated, then you, sister, and Dad would all be wiped out, right? The Empress Dowager was speechless and choked, but she doted on this son the most. She even had the Empress Lu Rushuang establish Lu Rujuan as the imperial younger brother. She intended to have this precious son ascend the throne and succeed Lu Rushuang's imperial position in the future. But she never expected. In a short 2.5 years, I had led troops to besiege the capital. Her precious son, let alone ascend the throne, was on the verge of losing the country. Empress Dowager Lu Rushuang immediately turned two-faced. My son has the qualities of a great emperor. How can he be compared to those useless soldiers? They should all die. All their families should be confiscated and exterminated. Lu Rushuang's father, being most afraid of his wife, nodded and echoed with a smile, My wife is right. Empress Lu Rushuang was also afraid of her strong and irritable mother. But now they were in a desperate situation with imminent danger. She impatiently persuaded, Mom, we still need those smelly soldiers to defend the city. Even if you want to exterminate their 9 generations, you have to wait until they drive back the rebels. Now we have to quickly find a way to make the rebels retreat, or even surrender. Lu Rushuang's father nodded decisively in support. Wife, daughter is right. This old coward was also a weirdo, like Sha Wujing possessed. Just then, Empress Lu Rushuang's personal attendant and first strategist, Jiang Ruyan, stood up with confidence. Before the transmigration, she was Lu Rushuang's fake bestie, the troublemaker who caused us to break up. As a gold-digging woman, she couldn't stand the beautiful Lu Rushuang being with me, who had no money. So she extremely belittled and ridiculed me for being poor, and even schemed and facilitated Lu Rushuang's cheating on a rich CEO. After the transmigration, the two can be described as the sleeping dragons and phoenix chicks of the Dethrone dynasty, performing a series of fierce operations. In just 2.5 years, they had stirred up flames of war everywhere. Jiang Rian showed no panic on her face and was very disdainful of the million-strong army besieging the city. She even imitated Zhuge Kongming, lightly shaking a feather fan, and offered an idea. "Your Majesty, why not issue an imperial edict of amnesty? Look at the TV series Water Margin. Those dog's-it heroes are all fighting desperately. Only the rebel leader, Song Jiang, most yearns to be recruited by the court. We represent the orthodoxy destined by heaven, while they are despicable rebels." Everyone's eyes lit up after hearing this, and they all felt it made sense. Since ancient times, rebels fear government troops, and thieves fear the police. How can they not be afraid? Unless the whole family is starving to death, who would dare to rebel? Jiang Rian chuckled mockingly and added, "So these mud-legged poor ghosts are also driven crazy by hunger before they follow Lu Ming to rebel. As long as we issue an imperial edict of amnesty, draw a pie, and promise them a bone, these poor ghosts and lowly people will immediately become pugs, desperately wagging their tails at us. Then order them to lay down their weapons and surrender, and at the same time tie up the rebel leader Lu Ming and send him into the palace. These short-sighted lowly bones are guaranteed to rush to do it." Lu Rushuang's father clapped his hands and nodded. "That makes sense. Rian is right." Even the imperious and foolish Empress Dowager rarely praised with satisfaction. Empress Lu Rushuang's 2 male favorites also scrambled to express their support. One was her green tea white moonlight, Zheng Cha, and the other was naturally that rich CEO, Fu Xinian. Lu Rushuang also played it well. In this magical, female-oriented world, she was able to train the two of them to be obedient. After transmigrating into the empress of the Dethrone dynasty, she was ecstatic and started the grand female lead script. She kept the green tea white moonlight and the rich CEO in the harem. And at the same time, she searched for young and handsome men everywhere. She made them engage in various male versions of palace intrigue to compete for her favor. If I hadn't transmigrated and been diligently busy with raising troops, rebellion, with my tall and handsome appearance and my elegant temperament, I would have been captured into the harem 100%. Zheng Cha's acting skills were explosive, using pitiful green tea language. "It's all my fault for being useless, unable to share your Majesty's worries, and can only give your Majesty comfort in body and mind." Fu Xinyan's cool and Chuyuni CEO tone. "Jiang Rian, you are very good. The strategy is very good, but in my heart, Tske, it's far less than 1/1,000,000th of your Majesty." The dog-headed strategist Jiang Rian was very unhappy after hearing this, and angrily pointed at Fu Xinian. "Are you courting death? Still acting like a rich CEO? How dare you publicly humiliate me?" However, Empress Lu Rushuang, who was flattered in public, was elated and waved her hand to stop them. "Forget it, Rian. They are just fighting for favor in the harem. And you are the strategist that I rely on the most, and also a close attendant who holds real power." Immediately afterwards, with the wisdom of her fake bestie Jiang Rian, Lu Rushuang was suddenly full of confidence. She restored her usual demeanor and issued an edict that looked like the real deal. Follow the plan of Minister Jiang and offer amnesty to the rebels outside the city, as long as they lay down their weapons and surrender, and then bind Lu Ming and send him into the palace. I cannot pursue their crime of rebellion and only execute Lu Ming and his rebel generals. Rian, you are my strategist and also the female attendant that I trust the most. I believe that with your wisdom and eloquence, you will definitely be able to make those rebels surrender and confess their crimes. I'm waiting for you to make this immortal contribution." And then, Naturally, there was no then. Getting the greedy and stingy Lu family to spend money was more painful than killing them. Fu Sinian, the rich CEO before the transmigration, frowned and eagerly expressed himself. Your Majesty, if we don't give them some bones to chew on, these rebels will probably not give up. I think we can give them each 1 or 2 taels of silver for travel expenses, plus a bowl of rice to fill their stomachs. If these rebels are not starved to death, they will definitely scatter in a rush. Everyone in the Lu family, including the gold-digging woman Jiang Ruyan, instantly darkened their faces when they heard that they had to distribute money and food to the rebels. Lu Rushuang's green tea white moonlight, Zheng Cha, jumped out, looking heartbroken, to give the white silver and food to that group of poor ghost rebels. It's a sin. I can't bear to see them suffer the most. It would be better to pit and kill them directly. No need to worry about them rebelling again, and it can save so much silver and food. At the same time, it could deter other restless poor ghosts. It's simply killing 3 birds with 1 stone. As expected of a ruthless green tea, who knows how to observe and cater to people the most. Sure enough, the most greedy and extravagant Empress Dowager immediately showed a wrinkled smile on her face after hearing this. She nodded in satisfaction. Zheng Cha considered it very carefully, which is very much to my liking. I am very optimistic about you for Ru Shuang's imperial consort position. The next second, the old hag's face hardened. First pretend to offer amnesty to those rebels. Wait until Lu Ming and his generals are captured, and then dismember them and execute them by slow slicing. Ru Jiwen immediately leads the imperial guards to kill them and wipe out all the rebels who have laid down their weapons. Those who surrender must also be buried alive and used as fertilizer, making use of waste. Seeing the Empress Dowager's murderous aura, everyone did not dare to say anything. However, they also felt that the rebels outside the city all deserved to die. After all, it was rare for the Lu family to transmigrate once, and they became the Empress and the royal family of the Daquan dynasty. Whoever dares to cut off their family's glory and wealth, then all must die. The fake bestie Jiang Ruyan now relied on Empress Lu Rushuang, so she would prosper together. She bowed and accepted the decree. Your subject accepts the decree and will definitely live up to your Majesty's expectations. After saying that, she turned and left. Reporting to the king, the Emperor's special envoy has arrived. A personal soldier walked into the command tent and bowed his hands in salute. At the same time, a sharp and piercing voice came from outside the tent curtain. Get out of the way. Let me see who dares to stop me. I am the Emperor's personal attendant, and also a special envoy here to deliver an edict. If you dare to be rude to me, I will have the Empress castrate you. Dead soldiers, smelly men, quickly let go of your dirty hands. Are you still men? Bullying a weak woman like me in public. The commotion outside was quite big. I stood up and walked out, and the other generals and strategists followed. I saw a woman dressed flamboyantly being held back by 2 personal soldiers with their arms twisted behind their backs, but she was still arrogantly cursing frantically. A fallen edict from the female emperor lay on the ground, smeared with dirty footprints. What's going on? I frowned, asking. One of the personal guards released his grip, immediately kneeling on one knee to explain. He pointed to Jiang Ruyan, who was still struggling and cursing. Reporting to the king, this woman claims to be a special envoy of the female emperor and tried to barge directly into the command tent. We stopped her, saying that we had to report it first and get your approval before letting her in. Without a word, this mad woman slapped us, insulted and scorned us, even threatening to have the female emperor castrate us. We are the king's personal guards. How can we be arbitrarily humiliated by a dog official of a dim-witted ruler? We were planning to seize her and let you, the king, decide her fate. I cast a cold glance at Jiang Ruyan. I felt her cursing tone and mad behavior were somewhat familiar. However, I didn't even care about that muddle-headed female emperor. How dare her damn special envoy barge into my command tent and publicly beat and scold my personal guards? It really pisses me off. With a dark face, I walked forward and pulled the personal guard up. Then, scolding him with exasperation, I said, "Wang Yusheng, you are such a coward. Who hit you? Go, give her 2 slaps, and teach her a lesson." The personal guard Wang Yusheng shouted, "Yes." Immediately afterwards, he strode over angrily, raised his callus-covered right hand. Asterisk slap. Slap. Asterisk 2 palm prints were left on either side of Jiang Rian's fair face. It quickly swelled into a pig's head at a visible speed. Ah! Jiang Rian let out a pig-slaughtering scream. Fu Xinian, the female emperor's male favorite who had come with her, watched the spectacle with complete indifference. He had been sent here to deliver the Edict of Amnesty because he had previously offended the Empress Dowager and the female official Jiang Rian. He knew very well that this bitch Jiang Rian was taking the opportunity to retaliate against him, taking advantage of being the female emperor's close friend. If he was still in the world before the transmigration, he would never have given this bitch a second glance. This materialistic bitch used to only flatter and grovel before him, the billionaire CEO. Now, damn transmigration had taken everything from him. He had not only become Lu Rushuang's male favorite, but he also had to compete for favor with other male consorts to save his life. He was truly living a frustrating life, even more pathetic than Lu Rushuang's poor boyfriend Lu Ming before the transmigration. Seeing the arrogant Jiang Rian slapped into a pig's head, the once wealthy CEO Fu Xinian felt very relieved. But the task of delivering the female emperor's Edict of Amnesty still had to be completed. Fu Xinian walked over and picked up the fallen edict. Then he unfolded it and began to read. What? Amnesty, demanding us to lay down our weapons and surrender immediately. Now that I have 1 million soldiers surrounding the capital, about to break through Jinling's city, this muddle-headed dog emperor is actually asking us to surrender. Hearing Fu Xinian finish reading the edict, I couldn't help but laugh mockingly. Even the General Qi Tongwei, who claimed to have received professional training and usually wouldn't laugh no matter how funny it was now laughing so hard he was bending over. The other generals, strategists, and soldiers all burst into laughter. This was definitely the funniest joke I had heard in the 2.5 years since I started my rebellion. The generals and soldiers risked their lives and even the execution of their 9 generations to follow me all the way to the capital. Now that 1 million troops were about to break through the capital of the Dequan dynasty, change the dynasty, and be granted wives and titles, the female emperor Lu Rushuang actually sent someone to issue an edict demanding our surrender? What kind of magical thought process was that? Qi Tongwei, who wanted to advance the most, rushed over, snatched the edict, and threw it on the ground. Then, stomping on it while arrogantly cursing, "Amnesty? You're dreaming. You're about to die, and you're still asking us to surrender? Only the chief culprit will be punished, and all the other bandits will be pardoned? Even if it's amnesty and persuasion to surrender, at least give some sincerity. Only this damn edict with no benefits, and you want our 1 million troops to surrender? Why? Because you're shameless or have a problem with your brains? It's no wonder that putting such a stupid person in charge as the emperor would lead to people living in misery. Do you really think we're as brainless as her, and we'll just let her kill us after a few sweet words? To hell with the amnesty." Not satisfied, he kicked Fu Xinian over. I knew how deeply he hated the Dequan dynasty. Heavy taxes led to the starvation of his entire family except for himself. He wanted to advance and become a pillar of the imperial court, but he had no connections and no money. Later, Qi Tongwei joined my rebel army, charging into battle and daring to fight. He quickly relied on his desperate efforts and military merits to become the vanguard general of the left-wing army. The next second, Qi Tongwei restrained his anger, realizing that he had been too disrespectful in front of me. He immediately came back, knelt on one knee, and clasped his fists. "I'm sorry, I was too impulsive just now. Please punish me, King." In the entire rebel army, He only obeyed me and the military advisor, Jiasu. I raised my hand and helped him up. I know your experiences. This is not your fault, but the fault of the dim-witted female emperor. She is extravagant, greedy, and excessively levies taxes, disregarding the lives of the people. The people cannot live, so they will naturally rebel against her to seek a way out. Water can carry a boat, but it can also capsize it. 30 years east of the river, 30 years west of the river, don't bully the poor. The military advisor, Jia Su, also nodded frequently. Water can carry a boat, but can also capsize it. What the king said is excellent. Suddenly, a startled and disdainful, annoying and abrupt voice sounded. Oh, Lu Ming, is it really you, you good-for-nothing? I didn't expect you to transmigrate too, and you even became the leader of the rebels. Che, are you even worthy of transmigrating like us? Jiang Ruyan, disregarding the burning pain in her cheeks, stared wide-eyed at me. Her expression was as if she had seen a ghost, but also filled with contempt. Holy crap, is this Jiang Ruyan also a transmigrator? And she seems to recognize me? No way, no way. Could it be that she's the best friend of my ex-girlfriend, Lu Rushuang, that materialistic gold digger, Jiang Ruyan? After all, the two have the same name. Lu Ming, what are you looking at? Haven't you seen a beautiful woman before? I can't stand your pig-like face the most, bled, so disgusting. Hee hee. 30 years east of the river, 30 years west of the river. Don't bully a young man for being poor. I've also read some of these broken novels. Don't think you're the only one who can use them to act cool. You're that penniless waste who dared to pursue Rushuang, Lu Ming. Jiang Ruyan seemed to have discovered a huge secret and suddenly became confident. Now, when she looked at me again, her eyes were exactly the same as before the transmigration, full of disgust and contempt, the typical eyes of a materialistic gold digger. Jiang Ruyan completely forgot what dangerous situation she was in at the moment. She was still so arrogant, even threatening me with a condescending air. God is truly blind. How could a good-for-nothing like you become a rebel leader? All right, since we're all acquaintances, immediately tell your men to release me. And then chop those damn smelly soldiers into 8 pieces for this lady to vent my anger. Humph. Otherwise, I'll have Rushuang never talk to you again. Oh, so was this classic line from Do Ji's book that made her guess I'm a time traveler. Hold on. Something's not right. What did Jiang Ruyan just say? She said to have Rushuang never talk to me again. Does that mean Lu Rushuang also time traveled? My ex-girlfriend, who loved to use domineering CEO tropes to emotionally manipulate me before I time traveled, herself only made $3,000 a month, yet constantly complained that my $10,000+ income was too little. Plus, with the encouragement of her family and superficial girlfriends, she decisively cheated on me with her boss, a rich but ethically bankrupt domineering CEO who loved to steal other people's partners. What was that rich CEO's name again? Seemed like it was Fu Xinian. Jiang Ruyan said she was the most trusted personal attendant of the empress, and also a special envoy sent by the empress to deliver an imperial edict. Could it be that the muddle-headed Empress Lu Rushuang is really my ex-girlfriend? Now that I command 1,000,000 soldiers, I'm too lazy to keep guessing. I'll just capture these 2 later and interrogate them. Then everything will be clear. However, as a rebel leader, a righteous army commander for 2.5 years now, to control my subordinates well, my acting skills have also skyrocketed. Of course, I wouldn't admit in public that I'm a time traveler. Facing Jiang Ruyan's nonsense, I acted completely bewildered. Huh? Time traveler what? Acquaintances? What acquaintances? Seeing my reaction, Jiang Ruyan's smug smile instantly froze. She angrily cursed, exasperated. Lu Ming, what are you pretending to be? Time travelers. We're all time travelers. I turned to look at Jia Su and Qi Tongwei, still very confused. What's she saying about time travelers? Have you guys ever heard of it? Both shook their heads, hearing the word for the first time. Seeing me acting, Jiang Ruyan was so angry her lungs were about to explode. She directly threw out the most popular code phrase that time travelers use in ancient times. Odd changes, even remains unchanged. Chicken changes, duck remains unchanged. What nonsense are you talking about? I don't understand a single word. The hot-tempered General Chi Tong Wei was thoroughly confused and walked over cursing. Slap! Without saying a word, he slapped Jiang Ruyan hard across the face. Then he turned around, clasped his fist, and said, "Great king, the dog emperor sent this crazy woman over, probably deliberately to spread rumors and disrupt our army's morale. What time travelers? Chicken this and duck that, it's all nonsense." The resourceful military strategist Jia Su also expressed his agreement. "General Qi is right. Our army's morale is high now. We should seize the capital in one go." He glanced at Jiang Ruyan and continued to add, "The empress knows that defending the city is hopeless, so she uses these insidious schemes to try to delay time or even undermine our morale." Jiang Ruyan was about to be driven mad by what she heard and could only roar in impotent rage. "Odd changes, even remains unchanged. Sign depends on quadrant. Lu Ming, stop playing riddles with me. Quickly release me. You can't afford the consequences of provoking me. Before time travel, I could make Rushuang cheat on you and betray you, turning you good-for-nothing, into a laughingstock. Now you dare to be so perfunctory and bully me. I'll definitely make Rushuang never talk to you again, and even have you sliced into 1,000 pieces to feed the dogs. You're very brave, aren't you? Courting death without even looking at the occasion." I just gave a look, and the personal guards rushed over to slap her foul mouth wildly. However, after Jiang Ruyan knew that I was a time traveler, her arrogant and haughty posture never changed. Even though she was slapped until her mouth was bleeding, she was still barking like a dog. "Ha! Forgot to tell you, Rushuang is now the Supreme Empress. Rushuang's parents are the Emperor Emeritus and Empress Dowager. Her younger brother is a great general who commands heavy troops, and I am her most trusted military strategist and best friend. Even your two love rivals are here, Rushuang's white moonlight Zheng Cha and the rich domineering CEO Fu Sinian in front of you. Dare to bully me, you're dead. How's that? Scared now? Unexpected, isn't it? Surprise? What? You're such a good thing. This is practically a double blessing. As expected of ex-girlfriend, Lu Rushuang's best friend, they're birds of a feather. Both are incredibly stupid, yet possess a mysterious self-confidence. I don't even need to interrogate them. She's already spilling everything herself. Now I command 1,000,000 soldiers and am about to become the founding emperor. I was just worried about having power, but not being able to find you bitches. I never expected you guys would actually deliver yourselves to my door. God is truly watching out for me. Sure enough, good people are rewarded. Well done. Great timing, a perfect entrance. I can catch all of you in one fell swoop. Satisfying, so satisfying. Every cause has its effect. Your retribution is me. I just don't understand Fenghua accent. These bitches have all time traveled, bringing advanced modern knowledge and technology. Why don't they go improve crop yields to ensure that more common people don't starve to death? Why don't they make salt, sugar, soap, etc., and improve farm tools and water conservancy to improve people's livelihoods? Why don't they make gunpowder, build ships, and refine iron to improve military technology? Why don't they reform the imperial examination system so that talented grassroots people like Chi Tongwei can also shine? Instead, they've messed up the already precarious Great Quan dynasty, making it leaky on all sides, with war breaking out everywhere. What a bunch of trash. Holy crap. Jiang Ruyan, are you crazy? If you want to die, don't drag me down with you. This rich, domineering CEO from before time travel, now the Empress Lu Rushuang's male concubine, immediately went berserk. His mind isn't quite normal either. After all, this is a crazy female-centric world. But compared to the oblivious Jiang Ruyan, he still knew his current situation. Fu Sinian angrily rushed over and frantically slapped Jiang Ruyan's pig head. "You bitch if you want to die. Why do you have to drag me down with you? I'm a handsome billionaire CEO, following you guys to this godforsaken place. You and that bitch Lu Rushuang humiliate me every day, and I have to compete with other male favorites just to survive. I've stooped so low. Why do you still want to kill me? He knew very well that once I knew his identity, his fate would be very miserable. After all, before time travel, he relied on his wealth to be domineering and unreasonable, repeatedly mocking and bullying me. Even to prove his charm, for the sake of a tasteless joke, he shamelessly poached my girlfriend. Any man with a backbone could not tolerate this humiliation. Now I'm a rebel leader commanding 1,000,000 soldiers, not a poor small-town student who could be bullied by them before time travel. Killing him would be as easy as crushing an ant. Jiang Ruyan's face, which was already swollen into a pig's head, was now numb with pain from the slapping. Ever since she haughtily arrived at my camp with the imperial decree, she's been getting slapped and smacked in the face, whether before time traveling or after arriving in this world. As Empress Lu Rushuang's most trusted and relied upon strategist, where has she ever suffered such indignities? Even that damned Fu Sinian dared to slap her across the face. He's just a lowly male concubine, not $100 billion CEO from before time travel. On what basis? How dare he? Jiang Ruyan hysterically cursed. Fu Sinian, you useless piece of trash, how dare you hit me? You're just a wimp who bullies women. You're even worse than Lu Ming. Ugh. Why get back to the palace? I'll definitely tell Rushuang about you. You just wait. I swear I'll castrate you. They were supposed to be pacifying us, but they're just fighting amongst themselves like dogs. To reduce casualties, I was planning to figure out the city's defenses to launch a full-scale attack tomorrow. Now, thanks to Jiang Ruyan, this mentally deranged idiot, I confirmed that the Empress is my ex-girlfriend, Lu Rushuang, and the general guarding Jinling City is actually her good-for-nothing younger brother, who only knows how to eat, drink, and be merry. This is going to be easy. It's practically heaven helping me. My expression turned stern, and I issued the order to attack the city. General Qi, strategist Jia, I've decided to attack Jinling City at 11:45 a.m. Arrange everything immediately, and let the soldiers have a full meal. We'll launch a surprise attack while the enemy defending the city is having lunch. The vanguard, General Qi Tongwei, and the strategist Jia Su exchanged a look, their eyes filled with excitement and joy. Yes, they accepted the order and left. The captain of the personal guard, General Wu Wei, Lu Bo, spoke up and asked, Your Majesty, what should we do with those two sent by the Dog Emperor? I looked at Jiang Ruyan and Fu Sinian, who were struggling frantically, my eyes flashing with ruthlessness. Castrate the man. As for the woman, seeing the anticipation in the eyes of the captain of the personal guard and the soldiers outside, I immediately understood what they were thinking. I patted his shoulder and said meaningfully, Since this crazy woman just humiliated you all, then you can deal with her as you see fit. Form a line if you have to, but be careful. Oh, and remember to leave her dog life intact. After all, we are a righteous army, not rebels who randomly kill envoys. The captain of the personal guard, Lu Bo, was overjoyed upon hearing this and immediately knelt on one knee. We swear to follow your majesty to the death. Captain Lu Bo had just left when I heard one guy blurt out impatiently, General, I'm a germaphobe. Can I be first in line? Judging by the loud voice, it seemed to be Wang Yusheng from the personal guard. He had been slapped by Jiang Ruyan earlier, so he wanted to be the first to get even. Oh well, let them do as they please. Jiang Ruyan, that gold-digging woman, has always thought highly of herself. Her values are twisted, and she likes to denigrate others with her sharp tongue. As long as you're an ordinary man with little money, you're definitely a lowlife in her eyes. She never respects ordinary people, even if they haven't done anything wrong. But she frantically sucks up to rich and handsome men, even if they're scumbags or criminals. Earlier, when she barged into my command tent, she arrogantly slapped my personal guard, and she unscrupulously cursed them, calling them lowly and cheap soldiers, not even men at all. Then let these personal guards prove whether they are men or not. Ah, it hurts so much. My eggs. I don't want to be a eunuch. Well, I want to go home and be a CEO. Fusinian, the $100 billion CEO from before time travel, had his former tools of the trade confiscated. Now, he has become a eunuch, and Jiang Ruyan was taken away by the personal guards. At 11:45 a.m., the bugle call to attack the city sounded. The soldiers surged towards the city walls like a tide. General Lu Rujuan, seeing the righteous army with overwhelming momentum, trembled all over and fainted. The battle had just begun when the commander collapsed first. The soldiers defending the city were thrown into chaos. Apart from the loyalists of the Lu family, most of the soldiers were only putting up token resistance. Soon, the North Gate was the first to be breached. To be precise, the general guarding the North Gate directly opened the city gate and rebelled. Those who adapt to the times are true heroes. Welcome His Majesty into the city. We have captured General Lu Rujuan. The general of the North Gate, Li Jinglong, was also a ruthless man and directly tied up Empress Lu Rushuang's own brother, Lu Rujuan. He led the soldiers defending the city, all kneeling on one knee to welcome me. The vanguard, General Qi Tongwei, and the strategist Jia Su also solemnly saluted and respectfully invited me. Respectfully invite your majesty into the city. The soldiers behind them were filled with enthusiasm and shouted in unison. Respectfully invite your majesty into the city. Respectfully invite your majesty into the city. The army cleared the way ahead, and the personal guard protected me. I wore golden armor and rode a tall horse. Majestic and awe-inspiring, I felt a surge of heroic spirit. I couldn't help but want to sing a song. Flowers bloom and flowers fall, filling the sky. No, that's the Ming Dynasty funeral song. In this female-oriented world, I represent the authentic tradition of the Han people. The great wind rises, the clouds fly. I conquer the world and return to my hometown. Forget it. It's better to recite the old hooligan Liu Bang's words. They have more momentum. Li Jinglong, the newly defected commander of the North Gate, tied up Lu Rujuan and followed behind, constantly flattering me, saying that his admiration for me was like the surging river, endless and continuous, like the yellow river overflowing, impossible to stop. Okay, another one who really wants to get promoted. I glanced to the left and behind. As expected, I saw Qi Tongwei, who most wanted to be promoted, staring coldly at the sycophant Li Jinglong. General Qi Tongwei, you have a rival. Later, I learned from strategist Jia Su why this guy had defected and opened the city gate so decisively. This poisonous strategist, summoned by my system, shook his head and sneered with a complicated expression. What else could it be? Women are the ruin of men. That Empress's younger brother, the imperial younger brother, Lu Rujuan, is also a hungry ghost for beauty. His Majesty has led 1,000,000 troops to surround the capital, and he, as the general defending the city, should be sleeping on his armor and steadfastly defending. Instead, last night he ran to the home of Li Jinglong, the commander guarding the North Gate, and took his most beloved concubine. It's one thing for this general to bully others by relying on his power, but the key is that he's also very twisted and perverted. He made Li Jinglong watch on sight, and even ordered Li Jinglong to help. Your Majesty, how can you humiliate someone like that? No man can tolerate it, even with his endless schemes, and having witnessed Prime Minister Chao who harmed 3 worthies with 1 cannon. Jiasu was also stunned speechless by Lu Rujuan's insane operation. He hadn't reacted for a long time after listening to Li Jinglong's frustrated account back then. Even now, mentioning these things, his face is still full of disbelief. However, Jiasu was an extremely cautious and pragmatic strategist. He clapped his hands and laughed. This is heaven helping your Majesty. Li Jinglong's defection on the spot, opening the city gates, allowed us to conquer Jinling City in less than an hour. And with the smallest casualties, we captured the capital of the Daquan dynasty, which we thought would be the most difficult to break. This shows that destiny is on your majesty's side. Soon, Vanguard General Chi Tongwei walked in, still carrying the bloody scent of killing enemies. Reporting to your majesty, the remaining enemies have been completely wiped out. Except for the Imperial Palace, we control the entire Jinling city. According to your majesty's orders, we have sent people to surround the Imperial Palace layer by layer. Not even a bird can fly past. The Dog Emperor won't be able to escape this time. I nodded in satisfaction after hearing this. I poured him a bowl of wine and asked in a flat tone, "Have the soldiers gone wild after entering the city?" Chi Tongwei drained a large bowl of wine in one gulp, then raised his hand and wiped his mouth. He reported bluntly, "Your Majesty, we followed your orders, and the soldiers did not commit any offenses after entering the city. A small number of soldiers who took the opportunity to commit arson, looting, and other evil deeds have been arrested by the supervisors. Your Majesty is right. We are now a regular army, and even a highly respected righteous army, not those rebellious bandits." Immediately afterward, the other generals also entered one after another. I reiterated and emphasized military discipline. We were all harmed by the Dog Emperor and corrupt officials, and we raised the banner of righteousness because we didn't want to starve to death. Now that we have captured the capital, we must restrain our respective subordinates. Your merits and rewards will not be lacking. But anyone who dares to condone their subordinates committing arson, looting, and harming the people instead will be treated as rebels and severely punished. The generals were all taken aback and solemnly accepted the order. Immediately afterward, I waved my hand. "Let's go. Follow me and break through the Imperial Palace. Completely overthrow the corrupt Dequan dynasty." At the same time, the ruined Jiang Ruyan and Fu Xinian were crying and cursing in the Imperial Palace. After all, I claimed to be the legitimate successor of the Han dynasty, so naturally I wouldn't kill envoys. I had people send these two useless wastes back to Empress Lu Rushuang. Killing them would be too easy for them. I have to keep their lives to slowly torment and humiliate them. Fu Xinian, the billionaire CEO before the transmigration, served as Empress Lu Rushuang's male favorite. Now he's been castrated and become a eunuch. Jiang Rian, the gold-digging social climber before the transmigration, served as Lu Rushuang's chief strategist and personal female official, but was used by my soldiers to prove their manhood in order to express their loyalty. Jiang Ruyan, covered in wounds and disheveled, was covering her clothes and crying curses. "Whoa, that damn Lu Ming! How could he humiliate me like this? Whether before the transmigration or in this world, have I ever suffered such a humiliation? Rushuang, you know me best. I hate those lowly, poor, bottom-feeding men the most. Lu Ming, that bottom-feeding man, coveted me in vain and actually let those stinky men like that insult me. I must take revenge. I will personally castrate him, then slice him into 1,000 pieces and feed him to the dogs. If I don't avenge this, if I don't get this out of my system, I swear I won't be human." Jiang Rian's brain had become even more abnormal after being taught a lesson by my soldiers. She addressed Empress Lu Rushuang by her given name, gnashing her teeth and consumed with revenge. And the castrated Fu Xinian was lying on the ground with empty eyes. Although the military doctor had treated his wounds, he had ultimately lost his 2 jewels. He couldn't accept the reality. From a once arrogant and unreasonable billionaire CEO to becoming Empress Lu Rushuang's male favorite was bad enough. Now he had become incomplete, a eunuch who could no longer have relations. This was worse than killing him. Lu Rushuang didn't care about their experiences, and now only wanted to clarify the most critical question. "Ruyan, you said that rebel leader is really my ex-boyfriend Lu Ming. Could there be a mistake? Are they just namesakes?" Jiang Ruyan, who had just been making a fuss about wanting to die, heard Lu Rushuang questioning her guess. She suddenly stood up, pulling on the wounds on her body. It hurt so much that she bared her teeth, but still roared hysterically, "Impossible, absolutely impossible. How could I be wrong? That's that damn Lu Ming. He thought he was hiding it well, but he couldn't help but show off. 30 years east of the river, 30 years west of the river. Don't bully the young and poor. Only we transmigrators could have seen or heard that line. It's from a very popular web novel. I even argued with those bottom-feeding men in the comment section back then. And his expression and demeanor, even though he was trying hard to hide it, are very similar to your useless ex-boyfriend. Lu Rushuang slumped back down, shook her head, and still couldn't believe it. How could Lu Ming, who listened to her in everything and didn't even dare to speak loudly to her, dare to rebel? He was a penniless good-for-nothing. How could he become a rebel leader with millions of soldiers? Jiang Ruyan saw her like that and was clearly still unconvinced. She angrily walked over and kicked the eunuch Fu Xinian. Rushuang, if you don't believe it, you can ask Fu Xinian. He was there at the time and heard Lu Ming, that bastard, spout that line in a showy way. If he wasn't your penniless ex-boyfriend, then why did he castrate Fu Xinian? You have to know that Fu Xinian, who was a billionaire CEO before we transmigrated, stole Lu Ming's girl. At that time, you guys were messing around in the car, and Lu Ming happened to catch you in the act. He grabbed you and wouldn't let you leave. Jiang Ruyan pointed at herself. It was me who notified your parents, your younger brother, and your white moonlight Zhengcha who was at your house, to pull Lu Ming away, but an accident happened. She fell into memories, then added, I remember now, it was a heavy truck that crashed into us. And then we transmigrated to this world, but everyone's fates and identities are different. I never thought that Lu Ming, that good-for-nothing, would also transmigrate over. It's rare that this useless guy had good luck once, and actually became a rebel leader. Lu Rushuang didn't care at all that she had cheated and been caught in the act. She only confirmed one thing now. As long as she confirmed that the rebel leader with millions of soldiers was her ex-boyfriend, the me before the transmigration. All of Lu Rushuang's panic and worry instantly disappeared. What? Millions of troops were besieging the capital, and even captured Jinling City. So what? Lu Rushuang showed a smile, looking calm and confident. She believed that with just one word from her, she could make me obediently kneel and surrender. Thinking of this, Lu Rushuang looked at the ruined Jiang Ruyan and frowned in dissatisfaction. Ruyan, how many times have I told you? When you see me, you must address me as your majesty. Just then, Lu Rushuang's shrewish mother rushed in crying. Rushuang, your brother has been arrested. Damn rebels, they have some nerve. Quickly think of a way to save Rujuan. He's your own brother, and he'll be helping you manage the world in the future. Do you think those starving rebels will kill Rujuan? Oh, if something happens to Rujuan, your mother, I don't want to live anymore either. Lu Rushuang was annoyed by her mother's crying and fussing. Normally, her mother was arrogant, domineering, forceful, and unreasonable. Now that something had happened, all she knew was to cry. Lu Rushuang's father was anxiously wringing his hands. Rushuang, your mother is right. She couldn't rely on her father, who always said the same lines. Lu Rushuang confidently reassured them. Mom and Dad, don't worry, I have a way to make the rebels release Rujuan. The two were stunned, then overjoyed. What way? Lu Rushuang pointed to Jiang Ruyan and the lying corpse of Fu Xinian, confidently saying, I have investigated. The rebel leader is Lu Ming. That's my ex-boyfriend from before I transmigrated. That penniless good-for-nothing. The two snobbish elders exclaimed in unison. What? It's that pauper. Lu Rushuang's mother's eyebrows shot up. She roared furiously. It's really Lu Ming, that waste? Good, this ignorant bastard. He didn't come looking for you immediately after transmigrating. He actually dared to become a rebel. What exactly does he want to do? Does he want to rebel? Lu Rushuang's father muttered. He's rebelling right now. Fortunately, the tigress who was going ballistic didn't hear his words. Otherwise, he would have suffered again. Lu Rushuang's mother became even more arrogant and manic when she heard that the rebel leader was me. She angrily roared, Rushuang, this time, you must teach him the harshest lesson. If he doesn't retreat, doesn't come to the palace to kneel and apologize to us, then never mind him. He dares to rebel and scare us. He has some nerve. Did you hear me? You absolutely cannot be soft-hearted. Jiang Ruyan, who was being lined up by the guards, was now filled with hatred and only wanted revenge. She viciously shouted, "That's right, you must never forgive this beast. This kind of petty, inferior man will never be worthy of your majesty. He doesn't work hard to improve himself. His salary is only over 10,000 a year after graduating from university. He can't afford a fully paid apartment in a prime location in a first-tier city, and he can't afford a car starting at 500,000. Who can he blame? Now that he's transmigrated, he's not thinking about performing well and trying to win favor in the harem. Lu Ming actually dares to hold a grudge. What qualifications does this insincere, good-for-nothing have to gain your majesty's favor?" Encouraged by these two crazy women, Lu Rushuang became even more confident. She sneered, "Lu Ming is making such a big commotion, just wants to attract my attention. This lapdog loves me to the bone. How could he be willing to hurt me? I want him to personally bury all the rebels alive, and then kneel outside the palace for 3 days and 3 nights. Otherwise, he can forget about getting my forgiveness." Humph. The strategist Jiang Ruyan and Lu Rushuang's parents all expressed their support with shared hatred. However, they hadn't yet decided how to punish me enough to relieve their anger. "Not good. Your Majesty, not good. The rebels have entered the palace." The chief eunuch screamed and stumbled in, falling to the ground. The people who were just full of smugness were immediately scared pale. Jiang Ruyan, the strategist who was still thinking of revenge, was the first to stabilize her emotions. "The rebels have entered? Is Lu Ming here?" The chief eunuch trembled in terror and replied in a trembling voice, This servant doesn't know who Lu Ming is." Seeing everyone glaring at him, he quickly added, "But the rebels are all calling the young man in golden armor Great King. Is he Lu Ming?" Lu Rushuang was overjoyed to hear this and nodded with a smile. "That's right. That should be the rebel leader Lu Ming. Watch me deal with him." The other 3 followed suit, with no awareness of impending doom. The chief eunuch was shocked by their reactions and made a squeak face like a prairie dog. "What's wrong with your majesty and them? Why do they look like their brains have been frightened? Outrageous! Damn Lu Ming, he's gone too far. Come, follow me to deal with him." Wherever the army pointed, the imperial guards of the palace all defected. I led the generals and soldiers, rushing towards the council hall. Lu Rushuang sat on the dragon throne, angrily pounding the dragon table. "Lu Ming, you're being presumptuous. When you see me, why don't you kneel?" I rode a tall horse, wearing golden armor and carrying a sword. I looked at her playfully, not dismounting at all. The civil and military officials in the hall closed their mouths in fear and anxiety. "Bold rebel, seeing His Majesty, how dare you be so rude? Rebellious traitors deserve to be punished by everyone." Except for a few loyalists of the Lu family, who pointed at me and angrily scolded me. However, Pioneer General Chi Tongwei, without saying a word, took people and dragged them all out. The entire hall suddenly fell into a strange silence. A pin drop could be heard. Da-da-da, I rode my horse and strode into the hall. I sneered at Lu Rushuang. "Your Majesty? What Your Majesty are you? You're just a fake emperor." Chi Tongwei and the soldiers all burst into laughter when they heard this. However, this is a female-oriented world. Unexpectedly, faced with my arrogant posture, Lu Rushuang impatiently reprimanded. "Enough. Lu Ming, haven't you made enough trouble? If you mess around again, I'm really going to be angry." Huh? All the soldiers were confused by Lu Rushuang's words. Even the resourceful military advisor Jia Su was full of question marks. The king raised the banner of righteousness to save the people of the world, and now 1 million troops have captured the capital and the palace. This Fenoi unworthy empress actually thinks the king is messing around. Who changes dynasties as if it were a children's game? This empress must have something wrong with her brain. No wonder the great power Wangchao dynasty is rapidly heading towards collapse and destruction in her hands. Jia Su couldn't help but slander in his heart, unable to understand what Lu Rushuang was thinking. I coldly stared at Lu Rushuang. I never expected that my ex-girlfriend and I would meet again in this world in this way. Memories flashed through my mind like a movie. Most of them were hurts and frustrations she brought me, without a trace of warmth. But it was Lu Rushuang who initially hinted at her affection for me. Yet, after we got together, she constantly scorned and gaslighted me, until I caught her cheating with the domineering CEO, Fu Xinian, in a car, and we all had a stroke of luck during the chaotic confrontation. Now, I am completely awakened, and frighteningly heartless. You're angry? What's that to me? Ah, spit. I spat directly at Lu Rushuang's angry face. She instantly flew into a rage. Lu Ming, what exactly do you want? Dare to humiliate me in public? You're finished. I'm telling you, we're completely over. Even if you kneel and kowtow to apologize, I won't pay you any attention. Chi Tongwei, standing to my right, couldn't help but laugh. Even the most life-loving old guy, the strategist Jia Su, was shaking his shoulders, suppressing his laughter. Aha! Finally, the generals couldn't help but burst into laughter again. What are you laughing at? Laughing at your sister. Do you feel accomplished by bullying us women? You damned, cursed men. I curse you to have children without assholes. Especially you Lu Ming, you bottom-of-the-barrel man, Tui. Lu Rushuang's canine strategist, Jiang Ruyan, was extremely frightened by the appearance of my personal guards. She had been pretending to be a shrinking turtle all along, but now she finally couldn't help but explode. However, my personal guard captain, Lu Bo, rushed over without a word. His calloused hands started slapping her in public. Isn't this enough to teach you a lesson, you bitch? How dare you spew nonsense and be so disrespectful to the king? Open your dog eyes and take a look. The Great Quan dynasty is gone. What kind of female emperor are you? You're all prisoners now. This guy is now my staunch loyalist, and he wouldn't hesitate to die for me. Lu Rushuang was so angry that her lungs were about to explode. Stop! Stop it immediately! Lu Ming, this kind of playing hard to get trick will only make me even more disgusted with you. Ruyan is my best friend. How can you mercilessly destroy a flower in public? Are you still the gentle and caring war man I remember? No matter how crazy Lu Rushuang's nonsense was, I always ignored it and pretended not to understand. Just then, Lu Rushuang's parents suddenly rushed out. The arrogant and domineering Empress Dowager bared her fangs and claws, trying to drag me off my horse. However, bang! The General Chi Tongwei, standing to my right, kicked out with lightning speed. He sent Lu Rushuang's sharp-tongued old mother flying backwards. Ah! She fell to the ground like a kite with a broken string. Thud! Ouch, my old back. It hurts so much. The next second, the old hag glared at me and hysterically cursed. Lu Ming, you damned beast. I'm Rushuang's mother. How could you be so cruel? You're finished. Don't even think about getting my and her dad's approval. Want to marry our Rushuang? That's impossible in this lifetime. I looked at Chi Tongwei, who was eager to fight. General Chi, these lunatics have foul mouths. Do as you please. Having received my order, he grinned fiercely. Chi Tongwei hated these royals the most and didn't hold back at all. Asterisk slap. 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 Asterisk. You lunatics in charge of the Great Quan dynasty. No wonder you harmed our people so badly. This slap is for my dad. This slap is for my mom. Chi Tongwei frantically slapped Lu Rushuang's mother, venting his hatred. Only after he had beaten her to the point of near death did he transfer his target to Lu Rushuang's father. Another beating, which made the old fool possessed by a Sha monk scream incessantly. Seeing her parents being beaten badly, Lu Rushuang rushed down like a madwoman, wanting to scratch Chi Tongwei. But he picked her up like a chick and threw her aside. Next, the vanguard, General Chi Tongwei, and the strategist Jia Su helped me onto the dragon throne. Your Majesty, it's cold. Let us add a piece of clothing for you. Chi Tongwei took out the brand-new dragon robe he had prepared in advance from his arms and draped it over me. This guy really wants to get promoted. I looked down, pointing at them. I shook my head and smiled wryly. You've ruined me, haven't you? The two immediately stepped down and bowed respectfully. Long live the emperor! Seeing this, the generals cheered and knelt in worship. Long live the emperor! Long live the emperor! No, I object. I am the emperor. Lu Ming, you quickly explained things to them. You are rebelling with them, but that's just to attract my attention. I'm the woman you love most. How could you make me feel uneasy and disappointed? This is just a quarrel between us. You don't want to be emperor at all. Lu Rushuang reacted from her daze and jumped up, pointing at me in opposition. The strategist Jia Su shook his head speechlessly. Are you still dreaming when the country is gone? It seems that no matter who it is, the blow of national subjugation is great. The female emperor's family is all crazy, spouting nonsense one by one. Lawless tyrant, your great Quan dynasty is gone. Upon seeing me, why don't you kneel? I looked at Lu Rushuang and roared in a cold voice. With a wave of my hand, 2 personal guards rushed over. They dragged the struggling and cursing Lu Rushuang and forced her to kneel in front of the main hall. She still wanted to curse, but was slapped twice. She immediately became honest. Lu Rushuang met my extremely indifferent gaze and finally panicked. She rarely lowered her head and admitted her mistakes. Lu Ming, stop fooling around, okay? I was a little capricious in the past and committed mistakes that women all over the world would make. But leaving aside the facts, are you without any fault? Who told you not to work hard to earn money? Is a monthly income of over 10,000 enough? My demands on you aren't high at all. It's just hoping you'll earn $1 million a year within 3 years of graduation, right? To have a fully paid apartment in a first-tier city, a car worth $500,000 to $600,000 as a means of transportation, and give my brother $1 million for startup capital. Is that difficult? Not difficult at all. But you're always making excuses. You have no ambition at all. You say you can't find a job making $1 million a year right after graduation, but why can someone else become a vice president at Baidu at 25 with a salary of over 10 million? You say housing prices in first-tier cities are too expensive, but why do others who didn't even finish college own many apartments in first-tier cities? You say a car worth 500,000 to 600,000 is expensive, but why do others drive Ferrari sports cars in their teens? Have you reflected on your own problems, but you want me to suffer hardships with you? Why should I? I looked at her mockingly, as if watching a circus performance. After she talked until her mouth was dry and she finally couldn't continue, I yawned. Finished? Lu Rushuang was confused and nodded blankly. Finished, a little thirsty. I looked at Jia Su and Chi Tongwei, standing at the very front of the civil and military officials, and asked with great confusion, what exactly is this dog-leg me rambling on and on about? Jia Su, being an old fox himself, pretended to be ignorant. General Chi Tongwei shook his head and sneered at Lu Rushuang. Your Majesty, this dog-leg me seems to be saying that housing prices in the capital are too expensive, and the horse-drawn carriages for transportation have also gone up in price. She's even using Your Majesty as an example, saying that if Your Majesty doesn't have money, she won't be willing to suffer hardships with you. Worthy of General Qi. I give this explanation 100 points. Following the topic Chi Tongwei explained, I looked to military strategist Jia Su and instructed, Strategist, did you hear what dog-leg me and General Qi said? We must stabilize commodity prices in the capital as soon as possible and not let the lives of the common people be affected. Jia Su bowed and saluted. Yes. Lu Ming, are you pretending to be stupid with me? You just want me to apologize, don't you? Lu Rushuang seemed to have made a great determination, with a very unwilling expression. She was about to stand up, but was pressed back down by the personal guard. Continue kneeling properly. Okay, I apologize to you. I shouldn't have had an affair with Fu Xinian back then. Now he's been castrated by you and is a useless piece of trash. Lu Ming, what's with that expression? I've already compromised to this point. What else do you want from me? No one to quit. Don't make trouble. Damn it, how can this brain-dead person not understand human language? Going back and forth with the same nonsense. You're not tired of saying it, but we're tired of hearing it. Lu Bo, take the corrupt Empress Lu Rushuang's family and all of them, and throw them into the dungeon. and her dog-headed military advisor. Throw him in as well. After my enthronement ceremony, I will try their crimes. Without my decree, no one is allowed to approach. Personal Guard Captain Lu Bo came out and bowed to receive the order. He waved his hand. A small team of personal guards grabbed Lu Rushuang and others and went straight out of the hall. No matter how much they struggled and cursed, it was useless. Next, I discussed the enthronement ceremony with Jia, Su, and Chi Tongwei and other generals. After they left to get busy, I took Lu Bo and other personal guards directly to the dungeon. Lu Bo, guard the gate. Without my order, no one is allowed to approach. Lu Bo obeyed the order and led the people to guard the gate. I went into the dungeon alone. What? They'll join forces to attack me? As a former rebel leader, I earned my position through my own kung fu. These crooked dates and cracked dates, even if they all come together, I can easily kill them all. My eyes swept over the prison cells. Lu Rushuang, her parents, her plastic best friend Jiang Ruyan, the useless General Lu Rujuan who was captured during the siege, the green tea white moonlight Zheng Cha, and Fu Xinian, who had become a eunuch. These bitches who had taken turns bullying and humiliating me before the transmigration are now all here, neatly. I came to the front of the prison cell. Everyone, we meet again. Well, good. All present, not a single one missing. After Lu Rushuang saw that it was me, she rushed over angrily. She shook the iron bars and issued orders imperiously. Lu Ming, stop making trouble. Quickly release us. The others also struggled to get up, clamoring for me to open the prison door. I covered my nose and took 2 steps back. I laughed mockingly. Release you? What? Because you're shameless? Or do you think I'm easy to talk to? Good and evil will eventually be rewarded. Didn't expect it. You'd have this day, too. Lu Rushuang's plastic best friend Jiang Ruyan exclaimed with wild joy. She pointed at me and said to Lu Rushuang, Rushuang, I said it was Lu Ming, that poor bastard. He even dared to act, pretending not to know us. Not only did he rebel and seize your throne, but that damned Lu Ming also let so many smelly soldiers do that to me. Oh, I feel disgusted just thinking about it. It's a pity I can't die. I must avenge myself. How could these selfish, self-interested people who trample on the dignity of others be willing to die? I know their ugly faces better than anyone. At this moment, there are only us transmigrators here. I don't need to pretend anymore. That's right, it's me. Isn't it a surprise? Before the transmigration, you bullied and humiliated me, but now you've become my prisoners. The way of heaven is reincarnation. Now it's my turn. Every cause has its effect. Your retribution is me. Lu Rushuang still firmly believed that I loved her the most in my heart. As long as she frowned angrily or shed 2 cat tears, I would be as anxious and distressed to coax her as I was before the transmigration. That Lu Ming who was in his first love has already died by winning the lottery. Lu Rushuang, you chose it idle. Lu Ming, I don't believe it. I don't believe it even if you kill me. You must be loving me. Now it's just love turned to hate. I've already apologized to you publicly in the Chamber of Deputies. You've vented your anger. You've made your fuss. That's about enough. Lu Rushuang shook her head frequently, not believing that I would be so heartless. She said she apologized verbally, but her tone was exactly the same as before the transmigration. Even though she has been locked in the dungeon by me, she is still full of the superior attitude of dogleg me. Even now, the great power dynasty has been overthrown by me. Lu Rushuang has become a corrupt monarch of a fallen country. She still thinks I'm just throwing a tantrum? What kind of brain circuit is this? Sure enough, it's the magical world of female-oriented novels. I sneered mockingly. Lu Rushuang, wake up. The Daquan dynasty is finished. Don't call yourself this dog of an emperor in front of me anymore. You bunch of trash, you're all useless. Having transmigrated with the advanced knowledge and skills of modern people, you actually managed to stir up war everywhere. And I, in just 2.5 years, amassed an army of millions and changed dynasties with irresistible force. You are now my prisoners, and whether you live or die, I only need one sentence to control your dog lives. Unexpectedly, the first one to kneel in fear was actually the castrated Fu Sinian. This formerly rich and overbearing CEO, before transmigrating, now had his tools confiscated by me. He was probably the most sane one among these lowlifes. Lu Ming, oh no, your majesty. Fu Sinian painfully crawled to the prison door, begging on his knees. I was wrong before transmigrating. I used my wealth and power to bully and humiliate you, and even slept with your girlfriend. But you can't completely blame me. Lu Rushuang, that bitch, actively seduced me. Her gold-digging best friend, Jiang Ruyan, was also frantically fawning over me and deliberately creating opportunities to bring us together. You know very well that her whole family is snobbish and only loves the rich, hoping she could hook up with me, $100 billion CEO, and they look down on you in every way. Now, I have suffered retribution and even become crippled, unable to sleep with women ever again. Saying this, he actually started to cry. This formerly arrogant and unreasonable, lip-curling CEO was now crying like a wronged little wife. He sobbed and continued to wail. I transmigrated to this damn place and lost everything, including my personal freedom. Lu Rushuang's family, and even Jiang Ruyan, that bitch, used to fawn over me like crazy, but here they casually beat and bullied me. Me, a dignified $100 billion CEO, actually had to compete for a favor in her harem, just to please that rotten woman. To save my life and be able to go back, I can only desperately curry favor with them, living a life of indignity and meanness. Whoa, I deserve it. I'm getting my retribution. If I had known it would be like this, I would have been beaten to death before provoking Lu Rushuang, that bad woman, let alone bullying and humiliating you. Your Majesty, it's all my fault. I want to go back to the modern world. I want to go home. Just then, a mocking sneer suddenly rang out. I followed the sound and scanned with my eyes. It turned out to be Lu Rushuang's green tea white moonlight, Zheng Cha. Before transmigrating, he often deliberately took intimate photos or dates with Lu Rushuang, repeatedly provoking me with green tea words. Whenever I was with Lu Rushuang, his phone would definitely ring. Something about his finger being cut, something about falling in the shower, something about being afraid of thunder at night, something about. And Lu Rushuang always fell for it, leaving me in a hurry every time. What a disgusting freak. He was caught by my personal guards when he was trying to sneak out of the palace to escape. Now, facing imminent death, he still dares to speak with green tea words. Lu Ming, it's all my fault. I shouldn't have interfered in your relationship with Rushuang. I didn't want to disturb you from beginning to end, but I just couldn't control my feelings. I just made the mistake that all men in the world make, unable to reject Rushuang's love for me. And everyone has heard it. The one who is not loved is the third party. Lu Ming, punish me if you want to, but don't hurt Rushuang, okay? He's psychopath. You're already a prisoner, and you're still playing the male competition game. Did you see that the harem rival Fu Sinian was castrated, and now you're turning your attention to me? I was so angry that I laughed. I've never seen such a request deserving of a beating like yours in my life. I grant it. I'll reward you with Ling Qi, death by 1,000 cuts. I want to see if tea water flows out of your body when it's sliced off piece by piece. Hearing the word Ling Qi, Zheng Cha screamed and fainted in fright. This bastard is truly possessed by a green tea spirit. Every word and action is full of tea. Lu Rushuang immediately rushed over. She held Zheng Cha in her arms with heartache and glared at me with her head raised. Like a hen protecting her chicks. Lu Ming, I won't allow you to hurt Zheng Cha. Isn't it just that he loves me to the bone? He always wants to protect me. What's wrong with him? I've said countless times that there's nothing between him and me. Why are you so petty? So jealous? Knowing that Zheng Cha is timid. Why scare him? Lu Ming, you're so disappointing. At this moment, just like that moment. Does she really think my knife is dull? He shouted loudly, Liu Bo. The loyal Liu Bo rushed in. Your Majesty, I pointed at Zheng Cha, who was pretending to be unconscious, and said with a mocking smile, Find a Lingxi expert and cut him to pieces for me. Yes, Lu Bo responded and left to carry out the order. Suddenly, Zheng Cha, who was lying in Lu Rushuang's arms, could no longer pretend. No, you can't cut me to pieces. Bang, bang, bang. He immediately knelt on the ground, kowtowing to me nonstop. Lu Ming, no, your majesty, I was wrong. All the mistakes are mine. I shouldn't have provoked and challenged your majesty. Your majesty, I don't want to die. Spare my dog life. I'll do anything you want. I'll be your dog, your workhorse, okay? Lu Rushuang saw her beloved white moonlight being so humble and even breaking his forehead, drawing blood. She immediately felt so much heartache that she was about to cry. She knew best how timid and afraid of pain Zheng Cha was, and how proud and arrogant he was. Lu Rushuang wanted to pull Zheng Cha up. Zheng Cha, don't be afraid of him. I'll protect you. No one can hurt you. Unexpectedly, Zheng Cha suddenly pushed her away. He glared at Lu Rushuang with a ferocious expression, scolding her in a furious and exasperated tone. Get away from me, you bitch. If you want to die, don't drag me down. Whether before or after transmigrating here. Did you really think I would like a bad woman like you? I was just drawn to your beauty and ability to make money. And after transmigrating, you got so lucky and became a female emperor. Otherwise, a shameless whore like you is just a dog on the side of the road in my eyes. You're all about to be beheaded after losing the country and being imprisoned. What are you still being so noble for? Lu Rushuang, this green tea white moonlight, turned his face faster than flipping a book. So he was always acting, and he was actually very clear-headed. This kind of ruthless and scheming green tea spirit is even more terrifying and hateful. Absolutely cannot be left alive. Lu Rushuang fell on her, but she was stunned, looking at Zheng Cha with a face full of disbelief. Her white moonlight had instantly rotted into black moonlight. Lu Rushuang's strategist, Jiang Ruyan, couldn't bear it any longer and angrily rebuked. Zheng Cha, are you crazy? How can you treat Rushuang like this? However, it would have been better if she hadn't spoken. Her opening her mouth was just asking for a beating. Driven mad to protect his own life, Zheng Cha rushed over and started punching and kicking her. He used to love being gently teasing, saying that men should know how to cherish and protect women. But now, the ferocity with which he beat this woman made even I pale in comparison. Jiang Ruyan, what are you pretending for? You're just a gold-digging slut with no bottom line. A troublemaker who loves to stir up strife. You haven't said a few bad things about His Majesty to Lu Rushuang, and you even schemed and encouraged her to latch on a Fu Xinian. Even my affair with Lu Rushuang, you helped cover up and assisted with. Why are you so wicked? Why can't you stand to see His Majesty happy? As Zheng Cha pummeled Jiang Ruyan, he exposed her wicked deeds. Lu Rushuang was still in a daze. Unable to accept the fact that her white moonlight, Zheng Cha, had suddenly become black moonlight, and her parents and useless younger brother were coldly watching the spectacle. This family was extremely cold and selfish, as well as sharp-tongued and snobbish. Soon, Lu Bo brought people over. It turned out to be Old Wang from the execution squad. His knife skills were indeed top-notch. When we captured Yuzhou, we caught the governor who had been exploiting the people. Old Wang directly executed this corrupt official who had starved countless people by slicing him more than 2,000 times before he died. Afterward, he even felt quite regretful, saying that next time his technique would definitely be better. This time, the job of slowly slicing Zheng Cha was a great opportunity for Old Wang. Opportunities are always for those who are prepared. I pointed at the still raging Zheng Cha. Old Wang, he's much more tender-skinned than that governor. Let me see if your technique has improved. Old Wang's eyes lit up when he saw Zheng Cha, and he grinned. He knelt and saluted, patting his chest to guarantee. Your Majesty, watch carefully. This time I guarantee I can get 3,000 slices. Immediately after, he began to arrange the tools in his box. Lu Bo protected me and retreated, and 4 Imperial guards went into the prison and dragged Zheng Cha out. No, Lu Rushuang reached out in alarm. Wanting to rush out, She was kicked back into the prison by an imperial guard. At this moment, Zheng Cha was trembling with fright, incontinent and stuttering. Baba, I let go of me. I don't want to I want mama. The sound of a pig being slaughtered echoed in the dungeon. Old Wong was also talented. His first cut turned him into a eunuch. A little small, castrated completely. The balls were gone. I coldly watched him being executed. Extremely cold and ruthless at this moment. After 2.5 years of life and death rebellion, I will never be soft-hearted again. I will not have the slightest bit of mercy towards enemies and rivals. To create a prosperous Han Empire in this world, I must be benevolent to the people and ruthless to the enemy. Lu Rushuang frantically beat against the prison bars. At first, she thought I was joking and arrogantly ordered me to release Zheng Cha. Later, when she saw Zheng Cha being sliced into a bloody mess by Old Wong, she finally trembled and cried in fear. This is the effect of killing one to warn 100. Soon, the bitches in the prison were all terrified and kneeling, kowtowing, and begging for mercy. They no longer had their previous arrogant posture and finally realized that provoking me would lead to death. Lu Rushuang, tell me, am I domineering CEO material or not? Before the transmigration, she liked to demand that I meet the standards of a domineering CEO. So now, I teasingly asked her. Lu Rushuang was so frightened that her pretty face turned pale, and she desperately shook her head and begged for mercy. Domineering, very domineering. Wu, Lu Ming, no, Your Majesty, I was wrong. Please, for the sake of our relationship before the transmigration, spare my life, okay? How about we go back to how we were, when we were in love? No. I could be your empress in the harem, or a consort if you like. If that's not enough, I'll be a jowie, or even a palace maid, okay? I promise to make up for everything I owe you 10-fold, 100-fold, and serve you until you're floating on air. You can treat me like a bed-warming maid, as long as you spare my dog life. Lu Rushuang kowtowed frantically, crying and begging for mercy. Still wants to be my empress, or even a consort, or even a palace maid or a bed-warming maid. I'm not a garbage recycling station. A toad wants to eat swan meat. What wishful thinking. Now that I am the founding emperor, what noble ladies and virtuous beauties don't I have? Why would I want a bitch like you who cheated and messed around before the transmigration, and even raised male concubines and played tricks after the transmigration? The crucial thing is that Lu Rushuang's parents and her brother were also fawning and saying that they would tie Lu Rushuang to my dragon bed. Your Lu family is truly shameless. My face was as dark as water, and I coldly ordered, castrate all the men in the prison. The imperial guards rushed in like tigers, dragging the 3 people out. Fu Xinian was going crazy. He grabbed his crotch and cried as he collapsed. Your Majesty, I was already castrated in your military camp. I was very angry now. I directly waved my hand. Then castrate him again. Fortunately, Old Wong brought 2 apprentices. Otherwise, he would have been too busy with his work in this dungeon today. He could only temporarily stop slicing Zheng Cha and go over to castrate those 3 pissing and shitting fools. What's there to be afraid of? It's just 1 cut. Don't worry too much. I, Old Wong, have the best knife skills. Old Wong frowned and comforted them, telling his apprentices to clean up the piss and shit. The next second, it hurts so much my balls. Mom, the old Lu family is finished. Lu Rushuang's younger brother, that useless general, let out a terrifying scream. Old Wong's 2 apprentices immediately stopped the bleeding and treated him. Immediately after, Lu Rushuang's father, that old geezer, also let out a shrill howl. It's broken. Well, the old Lu family is completely finished. Finally, it was eunuch Fu Xinian's turn. His eyes were dull. He didn't cry or make a fuss. He only hoped that Old Wong would make a surgical error and kill him directly. This kind of life, where he couldn't beg for life or death, was too torturous, too painful. However, this CEO from before his transmigration still underestimated Old Wong's skills. Although it was a second castration, requiring exceptional skill. But Old Wong indeed didn't deceive the emperor cleanly and neatly performing the second surgery on Fusinian. Oh, you devils, wah. You didn't even leave me my little Kuan. How am I supposed to pee now? I don't want to live anymore. I can't live like this. Fusinian's heart was ashen, with no desire to live. But I am a benevolent emperor. I can't stand seeing them comfortable, let alone die easily. My words were like a tempting demonic sound. You better not think about dying, or you'll have no hope of revenge in this life. I've already found a way for you to go back. All of you, live well and survive. And when I'm in a good mood one day, maybe I'll tell you and let you go back. Sure enough, these wretches who were suffering torture, their eyes immediately lit up, rekindling their will to live. Drawing big cakes, huh? As if I don't know how to do that. Old Wang quickly castrated the three, letting his apprentices take care of the aftermath, bandaging wounds and stopping the bleeding. He continued to admire his works of art, continuing to slice Zheng Cha's flesh while he was on the verge of death. The entire heavenly prison was filled with a dense smell of blood. Mixed with the stench of feces and urine, it was truly disgusting. I coldly glanced at the cell, at the three women still kowtowing madly, mockingly sneering, "Deal with them first, then it will be your turn soon. After my coronation ceremony, I'll give you a big surprise." Too lazy to listen to Lu Rushuang and the others noisy begging for mercy, I turned and strode out of the heavenly prison. Next, I smoothly ascended the throne. Ding! Eternal Empress system activated. As the system was fully activated, I summoned many historical civil and military officials. For example, civil officials, Zhuge Liang, Xiao He, Guijia, Wang Meng, Guanzhong, Fang Xianling, Lu Bowen, etc. Militari generals, Yue Fei, Li Jing, Wu Kubing, Chang Yukun, Xuda, Meng Tian, Di King, Cao Zilong, Guan Yu, Xue Rengui, Limu, Qi etc. When I first transmigrated over, there was only a newbie gift pack. After unlocking the gift pack, I obtained Jia Su as my strategist. At the same time, it caused my physical fitness to soar, and my martial arts became the best in the world. I also integrated political, military strategy, and state governance abilities. Now, with so many loyal civil and military officials summoned to assist me, I have the confidence to sweep across the globe. Lu Bowen and Zhuge Liang observed the celestial phenomena at night and selected a good day to hold a grand coronation ceremony. I, wearing a Bang Fu imperial robe, ascended the sacrificial high platform. Your subject, Lu Ming, kowtows to the heavens, the sun, the moon, the mountains, the rivers, and the spirits of past emperors. Establishing the Great Han, founding era, Hanwu. In this insane female protagonist world, I will establish the Great Han, representing the orthodoxy of the Han people. I will surely expand the territory and create a prosperous and powerful empire. Next, it's time to deal with the former dynasty's royal family. In order to show my benevolence, vengeance, and righteousness, hatred, I didn't behead Lu Rushuang and the others. After all, beheading is just a moment of pain, letting them die too easily. Instead, Lu Rushuang, her mother, and her plastic best friend were all sent to the Jiaofeng Division, Imperial Brothel. However, Lu Rushuang's mother was too old. She was disliked when sent to the Jiaofeng Division and was returned. This greatly undermined her confidence, and she could only go to the laundry bureau to wash clothes. Washing for 16 hours a day, she couldn't finish. As for Lu Rushuang's father, her younger brother, and the secondarily castrated former CEO, Fu Sinian, they did the dirtiest and hardest work, such as flushing the palace's dry toilets, pouring out manure, and the like. Not just simple 996, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week, but on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with no weekend rest. Never would have I thought my method of tormenting them actually earned the praise of civil officials and historians. The military generals who followed me in the rebellion were initially not very accepting. However, After these bastards went to the Jiaofeng division a few times, one by one, they returned to express their loyalty to me. Your subject vows to follow your majesty to the death. It seems that Generals Qi Tongwei and the others went to the Jiaofeng division to have the former Empress Sing conquer. But now that I have summoned so many powerful war gods, I'm not afraid of these arrogant generals causing trouble at all. Absolute suppression in all aspects. Under the assistance of civil and military officials, the first thing I did was to ensure that the people had enough to eat. I found high-yield seeds, such as potatoes, sweet potatoes, and corn. After successfully trial planting in a small area, I then promoted them nationwide. At the same time, I took out a pile of drawings to improve and manufacture high-efficiency agricultural tools. After years of successive bumper harvests, I also reduced the people's taxes year after year. Next was the reform of the imperial examinations, so that even grassroots people like Qi Tongwei could make progress and shine in the Great Han. Water conservancy projects, iron smelting technology, weapons improvement and research and development, shipbuilding, salt production. The newly emerging Great Han Empire was full of vitality everywhere. After accumulating enough wealth and grain, the people were also well-fed and clothed. After all, fighting a war requires money. My plan to expand the territory could finally be implemented. Those generals who were eager for military exploits were already impatient. Reports of victory came frequently. Report: Colonel Piao Yao, Hua Xubing, led 800 cavalry deep into the desert, beheading and capturing 2,028 enemy soldiers, killing the grandfather of the Xiongnu Chanyu, Ji Ruhao Chan, and capturing the Chanyu's uncle, Luogabi. Report: Chief Military Officer of Dingxiang Road, Li Jing, with 3,000 elite cavalry, launched a night raid on Dingxiang, routed the forces of Jelly Khan, and seized the opportunity to attack Yinshan, destroying the Eastern Turkic Khaganate in one fell swoop. Report: General who pacifies the Wokou, Qi Jiguang, led his army to defeat the Wokan Navy, and with an army of 50,000, stormed the Wokou Islands, conquering most of the Wokou territory, with their military might pointing directly at the Wokou capital. Report: Great General of the Left Brave Guard, Xue Rundai, led his army to break through the important Goryeo town of Bio Fortress, and his army has surrounded the Goryeo capital. Report: General who pacifies the south, Yu Fei, led his army to defeat the enemy's defenders, advancing with unstoppable force, and the capture of the enemy's capital is imminent. I sat on the dragon throne. I watched, with a playful look, Lu Rushuang and the others kneeling on the ground. The chief eunuch loudly recited the successive reports of victory. Your Majesty, it is finished. Reports of victory from all fronts are still being delivered continuously. Congratulations, Your Majesty. Congratulations. After finishing reading, the chief eunuch immediately knelt down and flattered me. Lu Rushuang and the others had become numb from years of torment. Hearing the frequent reports of victory at this moment, they couldn't help but widen their eyes. Especially the former empress, Lu Rushuang. She didn't understand Fenghua accent. Why, when both were emperors in this world, was there such a vast difference between her and me? She transmigrated and was immediately empress, with such a high starting point. Yet the great dynasty collapsed and perished in her hands, with wars raging everywhere. While I, a starving rebel when I transmigrated, could command 1,000,000 soldiers in just 2.5 years. Then I easily captured Jinling's city and drove her from the throne. I changed the dynasty, establishing the Great Han Empire. Now, the people of the Great Han Empire live in peace and prosperity and are all grateful to me. Culture, economy, technology, and military are all developing rapidly. Externally, we are expanding our territory, extending the borders of the Great Han. Lu Rushuang, can't figure out, can you? Let me tell you, because you and all of you are trash. You only care about greedy enjoyment. Your minds are full of palace intrigue and vying for favor, extortion, and you don't care about the people at all. But I am different from you. The people are always my top priority. They, like me, are compatriots of the great Han Empire. I stood up and looked at the huge map, my chest filled with heroic ambition. Pointing to the Woku, Japanese, islands on the map, I said with bloodlust in my eyes, General Qi Jiguang will soon destroy the Woku nation. They will never have another chance to harm my great Huaxia. Then I pointed to the northern grasslands, gnashing my teeth. I will exterminate these beasts, so they will never be able to create the 5 whose 16 kingdoms disaster again. I pointed to all the places in the world before my transmigration that had once harmed the great Huaxia. Finally, I declared Ba Qi Li. Wherever the sun and moon shine, wherever rivers flow, all shall be Han land. I will make the crimson sun and dragon banner of the great Han Empire planted in every corner of the globe. Everyone will speak Han, Chinese. Han is the most awesome. And future generations will not have to painfully learn those barbarian languages. Even though the chief eunuch no longer had his Kuan Dan testicles, he was filled with fervent excitement upon hearing my declaration. He prostrated himself on the ground, kowtowing. Your Majesty is wise. Your Majesty is a great and wise ruler, with unparalleled civil and military achievements. You will surely become an emperor for the ages. This old servant vows to follow your Majesty to the death. My ambitious declaration echoed in the minds of Lu Rushuang and the others. They looked at me with complex expressions, shocked and dumbfounded. After a long while, Fu Xinian, who had been castrated twice, imitated the chief eunuch and prostrated himself, kowtowing. Your Majesty, I, Fu Xinian, know this servant is convinced. You are right. We are all useless. We are all trash, contributing nothing to the country and the nation. We are not worthy to even carry your shoes. You will surely become an emperor for the ages. I will live on in this world and continue to witness the realization of your Majesty's goals. Fu Xinian was in tears, and his resentment vanished. Before the transmigration, he had humiliated and bullied me, and even stolen my girlfriend. He had suffered retribution in this world. He was living by the skin of his teeth, relying on the empty promises I had made before. He hoped that one day he could return to the modern world and continue to be his multi-billionaire CEO. But now, seeing that the small-town exam taker he had once looked down on could actually rebel and create the great Han Empire, and also expand the territory, eliminating the barbarians who had harmed China in history. Hearing the dragon's roared declaration issued by me, making the whole world Han land and everyone speaking Han. This was the heroic achievement that every man had dreamed of. Now I was vigorously pushing it forward, and it was 100% achievable. As a fellow transmigrator, he felt extremely proud. Lu Ming, no, Your Majesty. Congratulations, Your Majesty. Congratulations. Lu Rushuang also prostrated herself on the ground, kowtowing. Now she was full of remorse. Looking up at the majestic me, she shook her head with a bitter smile. I was blind in the past and had dog eyes that looked down on people. Heaven sent you to my side, but I lost you. Your Majesty is so talented and ambitious, but we, these fools, despised and humiliated you. I have no other extravagant requests. I hope that Your Majesty will become an emperor for the ages. And then, please have pity on me, this withering flower, and tell me how I can go back. The Jiaofeng Division, brothel, is not a place for people. I really can't take it anymore. Woo-woo. Lu Rushuang's parents and younger brother were very humble and honest. They kept kowtowing, even slapping themselves to beg for mercy. Lu Rushuang's strategist, Jiang Ruyan, was in a very miserable state. She was still mouthing off in the Jiaofeng Division and was taken to the military camp by a lieutenant under Qi Tongwei. She waited in line for 3 days and 3 nights. This gold-digging woman had finally restrained her temper and learned how to respect people. But she realized it too late and had contracted an incurable disease. She was now lying on a cold wooden board, listening to the eunuch reading the reports of victory to her again and again. I wanted them to live on, and at the same time watch me lead the great Han Empire to prosperity. Report. Great victory, great victory. General who conquers a Suda is leading the Southwest Road Army, advancing with unstoppable force. His vanguard general, Chang Yuchen, has already captured the A country, beheading 100,000, capturing countless. The urgent 800 Li report was successively delivered to me from the hands of the messenger. After hearing this, Lu Rushuang and the others actually cheered along. Their lives were in my hands, and like Fu Sinian, they felt that they were all transmigrators with me. The territory of the Great Han Empire was expanding wildly, and they also felt honored. The big promises I made before were like carrots dangling in front of the millstone donkey, filling them with anticipation. Ah, good, very good. Suda, Chang Yuchen, you didn't disappoint me. Triumphant reports continued to arrive. The Great Han Empire's military power was invincible. Prime Ministers Zhuge Liang and Xiao He also cooperated seamlessly, managing the country's domestic economy, technological development, and other internal affairs, as well as logistical support for territorial expansion, with great efficiency. There were also Wang Meng, Guanzhong, Fang Xianling, and other great talents with prime ministerial abilities assisting in managing various departments. The Great Han Empire's national strength was flourishing. All nations came to pay tribute. Now they became vassal states paying tribute. But those scumbags who bullied me before I transmigrated didn't get to see any of this. The first to die was Jiang Ruyan. This gold-digging woman suffered greatly and died of venereal disease. It is said that before she died, she kept calling my name, asking me to tell her how to return to the modern era. The second to die was Lu Ruyan's mother. This mean, sharp-tongued, and snobbish old woman eventually worked herself to death in the laundry bureau. Before she died, she kept crying, saying she regretted it and was blind. She didn't cherish such a good emperor's son-in-law, but instead despised and humiliated him, driving him away. The third to die was Lu Rushuang's father. This old fogey, like Sha Monk reincarnate, had no presence his whole life. But before the transmigration, his family looked down on and despised me, and he also participated in it. Before he died, he muttered, "Yamawaste, Yam Tresh." His Majesty is right. Next, the one to die was Lu Rushuang's younger brother, that good-for-nothing, lazy, and unrealistic waste of a general. He couldn't bear being bullied by other eunuchs, so he shouted, "His Majesty is my brother-in-law from before the transmigration." The eunuch director of the Imperial Household Department heard a low-level, dung-carrying eunuch dare to impersonate a member of the imperial family. That was disrespect to His Majesty. In this world, everyone wants to advance. He waved his hand. The eunuchs beat Lu Rujun severely. Later, it was said that he accidentally fell into the cesspool and drowned. After that, it was Lu Rushuang. She couldn't bear it in the brothel, even though she was selfish and cherished her life enough, constantly fantasizing about returning to the modern era. In the end, Lu Rushuang was abused by a pervert and stabbed him a full 49 times. She desperately escaped. One night, during curfew, Lu Rushuang's brain actually went haywire, wanting to frantically rush into the palace. Holding a bloody knife, she was shot into a hedgehog by the city guards. I announced her crimes to the public. Treason, executed on the spot. The historians were indignant. They wrote a separate biography to criticize Lu Rushuang, this unrepentant queen of a fallen kingdom, who didn't appreciate me sparing her dog life, and even dared to carry a knife to rebel, leaving her with a bad reputation for 10,000 years. On the contrary, it was Fu Sinian who accepted his fate the earliest, the billionaire CEO who was castrated twice. He lived to be a full 70 years old, but before he died, he kept muttering, "Your Majesty, you deceived this servant. Your Majesty, you deceived this servant." Of course, just in case, After they died, I ordered them to be cremated and have their ashes scattered. Want to go back to the modern era? No way. As those who bullied me in my previous life died one after another. I was also gradually getting old. In the 50th year of Hanwu, Chi Tongwei, who had followed me since the rebellion, died with regret. He really wanted to go further, but unfortunately, he couldn't outlive me. As long as I was still alive, I could suppress him to death. This year, the Great Han Empire's territory was almost the same as the world map. My ambitions had basically been achieved. The whole world was speaking the most pleasant Chinese language. As Zhuge Liang and other civil and military officials passed away, I summoned even more young talents. All of them were famous in history, and their loyalty was set to 100%. In the 70th year of Hanwu, I had been on the throne for 70 years. The Great Han Empire was completely unified. The country was rich, and the people were prosperous. I suddenly started to miss home. Often in my dreams, I would remember my crying parents. Every scene was as real as it could be. At the age of 95, I decided to abdicate to the crown prince. The equally ambitious and talented eldest grandson of the emperor, Liu Hong. Upon my death, he ascended the throne. He became Emperor I of Han. Opening my eyes again, a delighted voice woke me up. He moved. My son's finger moved. Doctor, doctor, come and see quickly, my son's finger moved. He opened his eyes. Immediately after, I blankly accepted the examination. Consciousness finally returned. My mother was crying uncontrollably beside me, and my always silent and quiet father also had red eyes. Did I return to the modern era after my death? The doctor in the white coat exclaimed, "A miracle! This is a miracle!" After being unconscious for 72.5 days, he actually woke up completely. Moreover, we did a thorough examination just now, and your son is in excellent health. I was unconscious for a full 72.5 days. I rebelled for 2.5 years over there, and simultaneously reigned for 70 years. In other words, 1 year in that world is equivalent to 1 day in this modern world. Later, I learned from my parents and doctors, as well as the news reports about the major traffic accident. Liu Rushuang's green tea white moonlight and her plastic best friend Jiang Ruyan died on the spot, while Liu Rushuang's family of 3 passed away one after another while unconscious. The one who lasted the longest was the $100 billion CEO Fu Sinian. He was declared brain dead after being unconscious for more than 40 days. Only I miraculously woke up. Isn't that their time of death in that world, one after another? I never would have thought. In that world, they were tortured to death by me for many years. Returning to the modern world, they died again. Ever since I woke up, I've found that everything I do is twice as effective with half the effort. Whether it's my career luck, wealth luck, or even romantic luck, it's all excellent. I'm not too sure if the Han Empire that I built with my own hands in that world is connecting with me through its national fortune. In short, no matter what I do, it's very smooth. My health is excellent. Even my parents' potential health problems were discovered with a quick checkup. Soon, I caught the wave of technological development, and all my investments were divinely inspired, quickly building a wealth empire. After that, I plunged headfirst into the chip and AI fields, which were strongly supported by the government, and quickly became a unicorn giant. However, I share the world-leading technological breakthroughs with the country for common development, hoping that the country, like my Han Empire, will be prosperous and strong, creating a golden age. Moreover, since returning, I have not been bothered by any more scheming women or green tea bitches. Eventually, I fell in love and married a beautiful and well-educated young lady from a respectable family with whom I shared the same values, and who is gentle, virtuous, and sensible. We lived happily ever after the marriage and had a son and a daughter. At the same time, we donate 30% of our annual profits to charity to help more children from ordinary families, so that they can grow up happily and enjoy the prosperity of a golden age in China.